everybody, welcome to Garden Time with Belle. Well, it is time for another walkabout. I can hardly believe that it's almost the end of September, but it is. And if you can see behind me or on the ground, you might see some fallen leaves, and that means fall is getting closer. In fact, we're already into the first few days of official fall here in my Zone 6 Mid-Missouri garden. As I was thinking about today's video and what I wanted to show you in the garden, we're going to do the normal walkabout that we typically do. We'll go around the house and look at the perennial beds. We'll go into the raised bed garden, and I'm hoping, because there's not a whole lot to show today, we'll go into the pollinator habitat. If we don't make it there, I'll film that as a separate video and show you that after this one comes out. But that's what I think we'll do today. And I also was thinking, you know what? It's time to take stock in 2025's main gardening season. Here we are, for me, sort of towards the end. We're really making that transition to fall. And so I'm thinking I'm going to title this video, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So before we turn the camera around and we start our walkabout, I'm going to invite everybody to please like and subscribe to my channel. If you're new to my channel, I am so glad that you found me. And if you're a regular subscriber and you're tuning in again, I am so glad you came back. So I think it's time to get the September walkabout started. All right, let's start here like we normally do by one of my very favorite David Austin roses. This is my Gertrude Jekyll, and it is a sunny September afternoon, so I'm going to have to wear my sunglasses, everybody, so that I can see you, hopefully, and see these gorgeous plants. So this has been cut back twice already this season. It is just going crazy again right before fall. But anyhow, I was watching, and I think I've mentioned this YouTube channel, Fraser Valley Farms. I watched this gentleman. I wish I had his name. I'll try to put a link to his YouTube channel in the description below. But he is a rose expert, and I go to him and his channel for lots of great advice. And one of the things that he recommends is on climbers like this time of year, you're going to see some of these big shoots, but he said, don't cut them off right before fall. Go ahead and kind of secure them however you can, and wait until next late winter, early spring to really do your prune back, which I've taken you with me before and shown you in April. That's when I really cut this back and get it all ready for the season. So yes, these are coming out into the walkway a little bit, so I do need to deal with those. And so this is going to help me decide my to-do list. Not much to see here. You guys have seen my boxwoods, and here's Gertrude's sister right here, and she is all the way up to the house, touching the house. So yeah, I mean, there's no blooms right now, but wow, she's a performer. All right, so here's one of my clematis, Jack Manny or Jack Mani. And one of the things I know, and I've talked about, next year, because it does get so enormous, I need to create a much taller trellis so it can really show off. So that'll be something I'll be working on next year. So remember when I said the good, the bad, and the ugly? Oh boy, let's take a look at this. Most things are good in my garden. Some things are bad, and this would be the ugly. These three shrubs, I can't even tell you what they are. I have done nothing to them this season because I know that I want to swap them out. So next spring they're coming out, and I think I have decided that I am going to replace them with some of the new, more petite hydrangeas. You know I love hydrangeas, and I want something that really flowers here throughout the summer, and I have great luck with hydrangeas. So I think I'm going to put some really small hydrangeas because this is such a narrow little flower bed. And then I think I'm going to have the 3 hydrangeas, and then on either side they've come out with some miniature size buddleias or butterfly bush. So I thought, maybe some pink hydrangeas here with some purpley blue butterfly bushes might provide a little flower power, a little color to this area, and yet they'll stay on the petite side. So here's our front porch, and in fact, oh, I got a package. Ooh, wonder what's in there. I don't know. Anyways, but you know I love coleus. You're going to see lots of coleus today because the coleus is still doing incredible. So, you know, there you go. This rose continues to pump out blooms. This is the Italian ice, the Oh So Easy Italian ice from Proven Winners. And this is about its 4th or 5th year. And it just continues to do its thing. So you can see some longer branches. And again, this is not the time to prune those back. I'm going to leave them for fall and winter. And then next year I will clean up all my roses at the earliest, probably the first week of April. Yeah, here we go. There's some new additions rose-wise. I've got another David Austin sceptered isle, and I've got Julia Child over there, neither of which are blooming, and I'm a little perplexed by that, honestly, because in August, I think it was, I gave them their last floral food, their rose food, and I did a little trim, and I expected to get another flush of blooms, and I haven't, so I'm not sure what's going on. But anyhow, it's almost fall, so it won't really matter. What you're seeing here that you might be missing is the supertunias. I used to have a river of supertunia petunias all in front. And I pulled those about a week or so ago. And gosh, in this next week or so, I'm going to be pulling tons of annuals out. I am just so ready for fall. So we made it around this to the south side of the house, and I'm under one of our big, beautiful oak trees in the shade, and it feels amazing. So I could take my glasses off, I guess. But anyhow, behind me, you're going to see, you know, that raised bed box where I put an overflow of my zinnias or cut flowers that I grow from seed. And, you know, they've had their day. I continue to cut on them for sure. But I would imagine in a couple of weeks from now, they'll be done. So here is a very long, narrow bed that actually flanks our big concrete retaining wall. So let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. So there are some really great things in this bed, things that I love, shrubs that I love. The Baptisia over here, it's not in bloom right now, but when it is in bloom in early summer, it is spectacular. Purple and yellow, it is just beautiful, and you're left with a really decent shrub. It's a really attractive shrub. They got a lot bigger though than the plant tag, way bigger. But I still want them, and I'm definitely going to keep them. I've got some Russian sage here. I don't know the variety. It's not a proven winner's variety, but it's very reliable. And so that's what's blooming here right now. And of course, my Miss Molly Buddleia, one of my favorite Buddleias of all. It's doing okay. You can see a lot of spent flowers. Because we're coming into fall, y'all, I'm just going to be completely honest. I'm not out here pruning stuff, trying to flush out new blooms. I mean, we're almost to October, and it's going to be 2 or 3 weeks. We're going to probably have our first frost, I would guess, based on what I know. Probably two to 4 weeks from now, we'll have our first frost. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time with that kind of garden maintenance to try to get them to bloom out again. What is ugly in this bed, you want to come really close in, are my peony bushes. No matter what I do, my peonies always get black spot. And when I'm talking about black spot, this is what I'm talking about. Of course, I've got something in my native soil here, some fungus and different kinds of things that no matter what I do to try to keep it clean and mulch so the soil doesn't get on the leaves, it gets this every year. Peonies bloom where I live for a couple of weeks, and then they're done. And then you're left with this. And it's green for about 2 months after they bloom, and then it starts getting yucky and black spot, and it's not a very attractive shrub. So these are going to come out next year. I'm finally going to pull the trigger and get them out. I'll offer to share them with my friends who really love peonies, but I think I'm so over it. It's time for something new. And I'm planning to rejig this entire bed. I am going to shape it next year, and bring in a bunch of really great soil and change it up. This gets full on sun, and I don't have any other garden beds on our property that really are a sun garden. So I'm going to spend winter dreaming and planning about how I can maybe make this come out, and maybe even put a small tree right here in the middle and make this a beautiful space. All right, so we're going to make our way around this little point. Here's a good thing, good, bad, and ugly. A good is I planted a hardy hibiscus, and this beautiful one with dark foliage is called Cookies and Cream. And too bad right now I don't have one of their big, beautiful white blooms, but Cookies and Cream is a perfect name for this variety of hardy hibiscus. So this is a baby plant. I just planted it this summer. So the idea is it will fill in this whole space. And then here's another brand new plant. It has a few little flowers on it, but it's about done. This is Caryopteris. And if you come in really close, I'll show you. These are the blooms, the lilac blooms. This is kind of, most of them are gone by now, but it was just covered not only in blooms, but it is an amazing pollinator attractor. I mean, bees just go for it, but it's about done. Again, it's a baby plant. It will end up probably getting about yay tall and wide. And so again, the point of the retaining wall will be hopefully camouflaged a little bit with these plants. And then this is what it looks like in my yard. I don't know about you guys, but these are what hostas look like after a very hot Missouri summer. Crispy, 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 and tattered. Yeah. And then here's another new hardy hibiscus addition. I don't know if that's a spent flower or not. Oh, it was really flowered out yesterday. It's not so much anymore, but this was a winner, so I'm very happy with this. Again, this is its very first summer. I just planted it. This will get enormous. This will get probably this tall and yay wide, and that was my idea. Fill in this area. I'm trying to camouflage that wall. So we've made our way up here on the porch, and I just wanted to show you a few things that are still looking marvelous. My coleus, this was one little start. I propagated this coleus from the mother plant, and when I put it in this pot, I don't know, it's probably end of May, June. I mean, you just can't go wrong. It loves this spot. This is east facing, so it gets some morning sunshine, but mostly shaded in the hot afternoon. And talk about good, bad, and ugly. This is good. This turned out so well. This is one of the new container planter boxes my husband and I got for the deck. It's 4 foot long by 2 feet deep with this trellis. Gosh, it's full of coleus. Coleus loves this spot. It's good, but it could have been better, let's just say, is my mandevilla. My idea was to try to grow something that would cover the trellis, and I didn't achieve that completely. I mean, it's not very covered, that's for sure. And I think I discovered that the reason why it really didn't take off and cover this is because the coleus got so big so fast that it shaded the roots and the lower part of the baby plant of the mandevilla, so it really didn't take off. So I need to just think about this for next year, what I want to plant in here, and I'm probably going to choose varieties either of coleus or something else that stays a little shorter. And if you all have ideas for, I want a flowering vine, it could be a perennial vine or it could be an annual, leave me some comments and suggestions on what can I plant here next summer that's going to really cover this up and produce some flowers. Talk about good, bad, and ugly. This is good, and I'm happy to report it is really good this year because this particular east-facing perennial bed really gave me a lot of trouble for the last couple of years because it's so wet. Naturally, it just holds water. We still don't know why, but it does. But I chose to go with some hydrangeas in here, some Siberian iris in the back row that aren't blooming, another hardy hibiscus, and some other things. So considering all of that, I'm pretty pleased with how things turned out. The ugly is gone, and come in really close. I'm going to show you what I've been doing that I didn't film and share. Some of you that follow my videos know that the front row here, right here in the front of the border, I planted what I thought were going to be 10 beautiful little ornamental grasses or carex. And I planted all 10. And they ended up looking like crabgrass and awful yuckies. Just, they weren't tidy and neat. I hated their habit. And I gave them 4 months to prove me wrong, and they didn't. They continued to be ugly. So I got after it last week. I'm like, enough is enough. I'm pulling them out and I'm going to relocate them. So if you pan around real slowly to the grapevine, We have on either end of the grapevine, we have a big Grand Cascade buddleia that is a baby now, but will become huge. And I underplanted it with some of these calyxes. So hopefully they'll survive out there. But I guess that would be my encouragement to you all is if you don't love something, take it out. It's your garden. Don't be afraid. Give it some time to do its thing. And if you're just not in love with it, why have it in your garden? So that's exactly what I did. The other happy accident I've talked about with you all before is this sweet potato vine. I've grown sweet potato vine many times in containers, but this year I grew it on the opposite side of our retaining wall to be underplanting under some other hydrangeas. And I came out here, it was probably, mid-June, and it was making its way over the ugly concrete retaining wall. And amazing. So that's going in the memory bank for next year. I am intentionally going to plant sweet potato vine here. And if you slowly pan back over to the other ugly retaining wall that drives me crazy, I'm going to plant some sweet potato vine on the opposite side of that wall and try to train it to grow down the front of that wall and cover it up. So, sometimes things happen in your garden that you never planned for, and it turned out to be a really good thing. The other good in this bed, of course, there's another coleus. That is one plant that I kept growing in my greenhouse. And when I put it in, that plant was probably 12 to 18 inches tall. And now it is, 3.5 feet by 4 foot wide. It's just, it's why it's in my garden. I love my coleus. I'm so distracted, everybody, and I'll see if I can put some video on the screen. We took a little video. There are hummingbirds all over the place. They're just flying all around us. They were all up in this bed earlier. They should be gone by now or really soon. And so they are loading up for their long flight south. Anyhow, okay, so let's make our way up here to the north side of the house in this particular bed. And this would be the good. There's nothing in this bed that I would say meets the ugly list at all. We've got another buddleia down there on the point, and then I've got my little lime punch hydrangeas right here. And if you come in really close with the camera, coming super duper close, you can see I've not been very disciplined about cutting back some of the sweet potato vine. It's up and through. But the idea here, if you come down, the idea was for it to be a ground cover. And so you can kind of see how it ended up. Here's Terenia. This is an annual. The hummingbird was over here a minute ago. Never grown Terenia before, and it was so beautiful. Let's just take a moment here and look at the coleus. These coleus up in this bed right here are 3 coleus that I propagated when I put them in the beginning of the summer. Maybe 10 to 12 inches tall each plant, and they are enormous. Perfect backdrop against the light colored house with that dark foliage. Oh, could not be happier. And then as we make our way up here, Brunnera. This plant right here is a shade-loving plant. Brunnera is new to me. I planted Brunnera under my dwarf Japanese maple, Mr. Mikawa Yatsubusa, and it has been a winner. So that's a perennial. That'll come back every year. And then the further we get away from the house, of course, the more sunlight this bed gets, even though it's on the north side. And it's shaded right now because it's later in the afternoon, but it's just full of some pretty annuals. I've got lots of wonderful petunias from Proven Winners, some lemon coral sedum, and oh gosh, what is this verbena? This is Superbena pink cashmere. First time I've ever grown Superbena pink cashmere, and they continue to do great. So I think what we'll do next, we'll turn around. We're going to head down to the raised bed garden, and I'm going to show you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Before we head into the raised bed garden, I just want to show you one of my recent additions. Let me move the greenhouse door out. My fall containers in front of the greenhouse. Look at the sedum. Come in really close with the camera. You got to see all the insect activity. There are bumblebees. There are little tiny bees. There are all kinds of things. So for these containers, I actually did a little video, so I will put that above. You can click on that link on how I potted these up. But you know, chrysanthemums, croton, some sedum, and of course some pretty orange pansies. So I am ready for fall. Okay. So let's head into the raised bed garden, and we want to keep our eyes peeled for monarch butterflies because over the last few days I've been seeing so many monarchs in here and leaving in here. And so come on in and let's take a look and see what we can see, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I just did a little short on YouTube yesterday or the day before. You might have seen it. And I want to show you something that is enjoying my Italian flat-leaf parsley. So if you come around here, I want you to come way in here and see the swallowtail caterpillar right there. There's one right here. There's one right here. Yeah. Isn't nature amazing? So if you grow herbs like parsley, dill, and fennel, they are wonderful host plants to these beautiful caterpillars that will become beautiful swallowtail butterflies. So plant extra herbs for these critters. Okay, so let's see. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The good, alpengloxinias, celosia, parsley. Good, good, good. The semi-good, and actually very pretty right now, are my my dahlias. They took forever. I know dahlias are a late summer flower, but man, they took forever to flower. Oh, Jowie Winnie, look at this. I just can't even hardly describe this smoky, peachy, pinky, lavender. I don't know how to describe it except it is beautiful. So as you probably know, if you've watched my videos earlier in the season, all 8 of these dahlias I grew this year were brand new varieties to me. Some I really liked, some were just so-so, but you know, I'm going to be growing these again next year and new ones. The ugly, let's look at the ugly because we all have ugly at times in our garden. Ugly is an opportunity to learn, but ugly would be my tomatoes this year. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about this because every time I come in here, I talk about it, but I have pulled out a lot of tomatoes because they were done. Like they just didn't produce at all, my big tomatoes. My cherry tomatoes did amazing. Cherry tomatoes, you can hardly not kill them, but my tomato crop was horrific this year. So yeah, they're going to get a complete redo next year in a completely different bed. I'll talk about more of that another time, but yeah, tomatoes, they were kind of the ugly this season, but the lavender, which is a perennial that will come back year after year. Isn't that looking spectacular right now? And of course, smelling delicious. Let's check this. Oh yeah, let's check this parsley plant out. Look, we've got 2 right together. Swallowtail butterfly caterpillars. Very, very beautiful. Good, bad, and ugly. Good, good, good. My pepper bed is so good. It continues to pump out peppers. I think I'm growing 5 or 6 different varieties. Hot, mild. It just was stellar this year. So, so good. I continue to harvest. In fact, last night I harvested some peppers and made a salsa verde with, come over here, I gotta show you this. My first attempt at growing tomatillo. So let me show you what a tomatillo looks like if you've never grown them before. They have this papery outer skin, and then this is the fruit, and actually that has a blemish right there. But these are wonderful in Mexican cooking, and so I harvested a bunch of these and roasted them with the peppers and made salsa verde. And in fact, I'm pretty sure I put a short on showing how easy it is to make salsa verde, and it was delicious. But I don't know what I'm doing with this, but it produced some tomatillos. You can see it's defoliated. And that's because when my husband and I went on a wonderful trip across the Atlantic over to the UK, and we were gone for over 2 weeks, tomato hornworms found the tomatillo and stripped it of everything. But yeah, I'm going to grow tomatillo again next year. I'm going to do some research and learn a little bit more about it. This bed right now only has 2 things in it. This has some beautiful lettuce that is delicious. I sowed this late, and it's got some carrots, and carrots will grow way into fall. I mean, it can be super cold out and they're still producing under the soil surface. So I'm excited about that. This bed was a definitely good bed this year. Swiss chard down the center. See that Swiss chard, the rainbow chard? It's just beautiful. It's just pumped out all season long. Ageratum, I love this cut flower. Oh my gosh, the vase life on these is, I mean, 2 weeks. 2 weeks and it looks just like it when you cut it. Love it. Planted it too thickly, as you can plainly see, but that's, you know, I'm going to still harvest on those. So I got to get out here and make some more cuttings and bouquets. My cucumbers, actually, this is a good this year. When I plant cucumbers in this bed too early in the summer, they get annihilated by insects. And I had read, wait until later in the summer when whatever the moth or the butterfly is that puts its eggs on cucumber plants, when they're past doing their thing in early summer, then you won't have that problem, and for sure not a problem. And this is only 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 or 8 plants, and it just continues to produce like crazy. So, you know, it doesn't take many plants to give you a load of cucumbers, so I'm happy about that. Woo! And here I am. I'm matching this bed. This is full of gomphrena, carmine. Again, another amazing cut flower. I grew everything from seed. Super, super productive. It dries really well, so I really need to get out here in the next week, cut as much of this as I can, bundle it up, and dry them so I can use them in any kind of crafts or projects going forward. So that needs to happen. The last thing I want to show you before we head over to the pollinator habitat is, and you could just come around here and take a look at my green beans. I must admit that I have let them go, and when they get to be, whoops, this big and bumpy, I don't know if I can show you that on the screen, they're past prime. They get really stringy. Do you see that string? So you always want to harvest your green beans when they're petite and tender, and like this one, I'll show you the difference. So really, if you have a choice, this variety, you want to get them small and not let them get too mature, because they're much tastier and tender when they're small. So here we are in our September 2-acre pollinator habitat, and I just can't convey to you how delightful this has been. This has been one of the best decisions my husband and I ever made, was to convert these 2 acres here on the hillside next to the pond to a pollinator habitat. It has constantly taught me things. I have discovered so many new things every season. I see plants in here that I've not seen the last 4 seasons. It is just incredible. So while we're in here, we want to be watching for monarchs, because I've been seeing a lot of monarch activity. We had it early in the season, and then now they're doing their second metamorphosis again. And so we've been seeing those, but it's of course loaded up with pollinators right now. And what's happening now that's really good is goldenrod. So if you pan really slow around, look at all the goldenrod. And then if we come down, let's take a look at, I want you to lock in on some of this goldenrod is covered. That one right there is covered with bees and other kinds of critters. I don't know what these little insects are. I have no idea what that is, but I do see bees everywhere. They are so appreciating the goldenrod. Just want to point out quickly a few other things that you might be noticing. So here is some milkweed. Do you see? These are the seed pods, and these are the actual seeds that the wind will carry, the birds will carry, and create more milkweed. I think we have about 4 to 5 different species of milkweed planted all throughout. So this is, I don't know what this species is, but I just wanted to point that out. The other thing I want to show you is that's really showing off right now are these little yellow flowers. I don't know what that is, but it sure is pretty. So that makes the good list. And then let me see if you follow me. We'll come in here. I want to give you a good example of fleabane. So, oh, these are really hard to pull, but this is fleabane. Isn't that adorable? Looks like little tiny baby daisies. And then I think I'll have you, if you can zoom in, this yarrow. We have kind of a white yarrow that's all over right now. That very tall plant with the white kind of umbrella type blooms, those flat blooms. The yarrow is really showing off as well. Well, I think that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me on this September walkabout. I hope everybody out there has had an amazing 2025 growing season. For some of you, depending upon where you are in the country, you have weeks and weeks left to grow your herbs and veggies and your annual flowers. But for this Zone 6 gardener, I'm ready to make that big transition to fall, and things are going to look really different a month from now. So anyhow, thank you guys so much for supporting my channel. And until next time, I wish everybody out there happy gardening.